man for early marriage. But with the intervention, because the school is very proud of taking drastic action against people that are really giving their children for early marriage. And for now, it has cut down.
There is now a promising future for the girls in Koinadugu district.
I promise. For say tomorrow we get for Kanaya, you know, get for Miss Kumba again, na Ministry of Education. I promise to be the first.
No, right now, thank God, because I dey go school. So I dey do things come on now, me and my parents are in our house now. So anybody else now want me for married or early married or teenage pregnancy, and they don't give full stop to that right now.
A very successful project, not only from the FIT side, from our side here, and even from the communities. Our plans are really to expand this project, not only in Koinadugu and Falaba district, but also like in Bombali, this are Tonkolile, and even Moyamba, where we have our biggest programs going on.
And as for Coast Canada Sierra Leone partnership, the battle is still on, as they hope to march forward to more districts across the country.
Welcome. This is news on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation in Freetown. I'm Cecilia Amisisi. Your top stories this morning. Sierra Leone assumes chair of the Peace and Security Council of the African Union for the month of May. West African Insurance Companies Association Annual Conference in Freetown focuses on tackling financial crimes in West Africa. And residents of Yenga town and its environs in Kisiteng Chiefdom Kalam district call on government to resolve the current issue in their community. This report and more plus sport and entertainment are lined up in this edition of the news. Stay with us. Sierra Leone has assumed the chair of the Peace and Security Council of the African Union for May. Sierra Leone's ambassador to the African Union, who is also accredited to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, Howard Safa, is due to assume the role as chair of the continent's Peace and Security Council. Sierra Leone's chair of the council coincides with a series of security and humanitarian challenges on the continent. The country will lead security sector reforms in a number of AU member states, prepare for the second annual joint consultative meeting between the AUPSC and ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council, commemorating the International Day of Living Together in Peace. Sierra Leone will also spearhead discussions to address food insecurity in Africa and organize transnational crime, peace and security in the Sahel region. As chair of the African Union Peace and Security Council, Sierra Leone will also prioritize the need to deepening democracy on the African Union. The AU Peace and Security Council is a standing decision-making organ of the African Union for the prevention, management, and resolution of conflicts in Africa. Now, away from that, residents of Yenga town and its environs in Kisiteng Chiefdom, Kalam district, have called on the government of President Julius Madabio to take swift and decisive actions in solving the long-standing and border disputes concerning Yenga, a territory claimed by both Sierra Leone and Guinea. They made these calls during a high-level government delegation visit in Koindu, Kisiteng Chiefdom to address the Yenga dispute. Manuel Samoa went along and compiled this report.
These videos of people fleeing Yenga town and its environs in the late hours of the 30th April flooded the online community, thereby sending a shockwave as to the deteriorating situation in Yenga. They left their homes for fear of losing their lives as there was alleged live rounds fired by the Guinean soldiers in that area. Those who flee are now refugees in their own land.
I'm currently standing on top of a rock in Sukuma village here in Kalam district, and right at my back over there is Nongoa town in Guinea, and before from Nongoa town to Sukuma village you have to cross a stream, and that stream is what's supposed to be the boundary between Sierra Leone and that of Guinea. But the Guinean soldiers are currently in Yenga, Yenga town, which is inside Sierra Leone, the Sierra Leonean soil. They've captured the town and they've held the town hostage.
But the Sierra Leonean soldiers currently occupy and mounted checkpoint at Pengu Bengu village, which is about 300 meters from Yenga. Sokoma village, which is closer to Yenga, is alleged to be the next capture target of the Guinean side. The town has been transformed into a ghost town.
Wednesday, Friday, people then run away to go Kwendu, then villages, then all, then pack them bundles, and then go. Now we demand no more. They have to them back na Santen, then can camp, so na net and can go back na Kwendu.
The people complained of being beaten and prevented from accessing their farmlands and said the presence of the Sierra Leonean soldiers got the Guinean soldiers agitated, the reason they fired live rounds.
A lot of soldiers went on deploy too much, and they all come with arms. Tradition can not been come with arms, but now they don't come with arms. And likewise, itself, I believe Sierra soldiers don't come, so like the tension don't make. Even the farmers all around.
Yenga town in Kisiteng Chiefdom, Kailaun district dispute has been around for decades as both Sierra Leone and Guinea are claiming ownership of the said territory. But the inhabitants in Yenga town, who are Sierra Leoneans, have for a long time suffered molestation and intimidation from Guinean military forces. We want Yenga, free Yenga, we need Yenga. President Bio, give us Yenga, we are Sierra Leoneans too, were the messages on plaque mounted by the displaced Yenga residents at the arrival of the high-powered government delegation in Koindu town on the 3rd May. John Tamba Foko, who represented the youth in Yenga, in a bitter tone explained their ordeals and asked for answers on who owns Yenga.
We know one for your soldier police can, but why you say Yenga? Now they for no say Yenga, whether I get out or not, not to focus they do that now.
Nana Jabi, who represented the women, asked for Yenga to be handed over to them because they are currently suffering. Whereas a representative from the Liberian government, Jamila Bogoy, expressed how troubled they are of the recent development in Yenga that shatters the common values members in the Mano River Union share.
Trouble because the common cultural values, the interaction that we share with both Guinea and Sierra Leone. When we hear the kind of situation, we don't feel fine.
Sadly, a meeting set for both Sierra Leone and Guinea security apparatus to meet with the people and have frank discussion on the issue was only attended by the paramount chief of Nongwa Chiefdom in Guinea, Tamba Gabriel Bongono. He criticized the actions of the Guinean soldiers and called for demilitarization of that area.
Police ongoing tension is clear. By the way, when I talk to the government of Sierra Leone, then we say that if we are letting them go back as normal, they own them back. They go back, they will continue to normal cross-border activity.
Having listened to the cry, pleas, and submissions made, the resident minister East, Jushu Jaka Gobe, the Minister of Internal Affairs, Mori Lengo, the Deputy Minister of Defense, retired Colonel Murana Masakoy, and the ONS National Coordinator, Abdullahi Kolka, shared similar sentiments, reaffirming government's resolve to seek a diplomatic solution to the Yenga dispute.
Diplomacy is painful, is hard. Now the best insurance way. Like the defense minister say, even if we're affected at the end of the day, they say we're not going to talk na table.
Amid the assurance and commitment, it was still unclear when the displaced Yenga people will return to their home and when will a lasting solution be provided for the Yenga dispute. Emmanuel Samua, SLBC.
Well, that's the current development on the Yenga issue there. The SLBC will continue to keep you abreast with issues. Now, the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the Global Alliance on Vaccine Initiative, Dr. Sania Nita, has led a high-level delegation to meet President Julius Maada Bio at his residence. The visit came ahead of the 2025 World Immunization Week, where Sierra Leone is serving as host nation. The visit signaled Gafi's strong support for the country's immunization drive. Our status correspondent, Monsieur, reports.
The delegation received a warm welcome from President Julius Maada Bio and his team. Health Minister Dr. Austin Dembi thanked the President for meeting the visitors. He said hosting this year's Immunization Week in Freetown is no coincidence. It is a recognition of President Bio's leadership and Sierra Leone's impact on Africa's vaccine goals. Gavi's CEO Dr. Sania Nishita praised the President and First Lady for pushing child health and vaccines. She said Sierra Leone's result outshine even bigger countries, thanks to political will and strong partnerships. Representing the African Union, Professor Julio Roconita applauded President Bio. He said the President's implementation of the Addis Ababa Declaration has moved Africa closer to its health goals or targets. He said the President's implementation of the Addis Ababa Declaration has moved Africa closer to its health targets. He also praised Sierra Leone's broader contributions to the African Union.
Excellency, because by your leadership and also the leadership of your Ministry of Health, we are reaching all of our activities, all of our targets, and we need that you will continue to support us on this way.
President Bio welcomed the delegation. He said Gavi has been a strong and reliable partner. He reaffirmed his government's commitment to vaccinating every child for him. Healthcare is the foundation of human capital development. It goes hand in hand with education, agriculture, gender equality, and youth empowerment.
Those are the main components, and all throughout this time, Gavi, I remember during the COVID period, we worked together and we were able to get some vaccines. And we have been committed to it and making sure that we have a high vaccination rate in this country, because that is the best way to save the human.
Gavi continues to support low-income countries in expanding vaccine access, and in Sierra Leone, the partnership is growing stronger. For Slbc TV News in Freetown, Howard Mosiri reporting.
In another news from State House, President Julius Maada Bio and First Lady Fatima Bio have joined world leaders in Gabon. They attended the inauguration of President-elect Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema, who was elected as Gabon's fourth president on April 8th, 2025. Our sales correspondent, Mosiri, again reports.
It was a high-level event in Libreville. President Julius Maada Bio and the First Lady were among several African and global leaders at the ceremony. Heads of state from Ghana, Senegal, the Gambia, Rwanda, Kenya, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Burundi, Djibouti, and Guinea were present. Also attending, the Vice President of Nigeria, the African Union Chairperson Hechi Azali Assoumani, U.S. President Special Advisor on Africa Massad Boulos, and Chinese President Xi Jinping's Special Envoy Meng Hong. President Zhongguan pledged to restore dignity to the people of Gabon and outline his foreign policy vision, which he noted is focused on strengthening international engagements. He said Gabon is ready to cooperate with global partnerships with respecting institutions and the rule of law. Sierra Leone's presence at the ceremony highlights its strong diplomatic ties with Gabon. Both nations are committed to African unity and are signatories to the African Continental Free Trade Area, which seeks to reduce trade barriers and embrace inter-Africa commerce. The relationships between the two countries continues to grow, especially in trade and diplomacy. For Slbc TV News in Freetown, Howard Mosiri reporting from State House.
Now, away from that, Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jude Jallo has referred to the 2025 African Vaccination Week as a call to action to embrace the transformative power of vaccines. Dr. Jallo reaffirmed the government's commitment to vaccine equity and for achieving the Immunization Agenda 2030. He was speaking at the Bintamani Conference Center while delivering the keynote and delivering the 2025 African Vaccination Week hosted by Sierra Leone. Dennis Fraser reports.
The high-level event for the commemoration of the 2025 Africa Vaccination Week on the theme Humanly Possible coincided with the 51st anniversary of the extended program on immunization. The program is focused on achieving control, elimination, or eradication of diseases across demography.
With 92% DPT-3 coverage in 2023, a successful malaria introduction in 2024, and a groundbreaking Ebola preventive vaccination campaign, Sierra Leone has shown the world that it can maintain progress on routine immunization at the same time as introducing new vaccines. And at Gavi, we are very proud of Sierra Leone.
The issue of looking at consolidating and sustaining the gains that have been recorded in Sierra Leone comes to the fore. In this perspective, we wish to continue the discussion and the advocacy for enhancing domestic financing and looking at other innovative forms of financing.
According to the Minister of Health, Dr. Austin Demby, the country has been experiencing firsthand the transformative power of vaccines. He added that the conference was a showcase of progress made through the beneficiaries, mostly women and children. He said this was also made possible through the support of many international partners who had confidence in the systems set up by the government to handle the process.
This week will not only celebrate what we have accomplished, but also reaffirm our commitment to closing these gaps. Our goal is to ensure that every child, regardless of where they are born, has access to life-saving vaccines.
Delivering the keynote and declaring the 2025 African Vaccination Week open, Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jule Jallo said that vaccines remain a strong tool to prevent outbreaks before they get to spread and also to protect those mostly at risk. He therefore called for collective efforts by government, development partners, health workers, and communities to continue to save millions of lives.
The government of Sierra Leone is no doubt committed to meeting its financial commitment towards achieving national and global immunization target. This government, between 2023 and 2024, we have witnessed the consolidation of the gains in the immunization system.
Routine childhood vaccinations in Sierra Leone are part of the extended program on immunization, an initiative started by the World Health Organization and managed by the Ministry of Health as a means to work collectively towards achieving universal immunization across the continent.
You're still watching news from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation in Freetown. We continue with more stories. Now, the West African Insurance Companies Association has held its annual general meeting and conference on the theme Battling Financial Crimes in West Africa, Role of Insurance. The event seeks to strengthen the insurance markets across member countries. Christiana Kamara witnessed the event at the Radisson Blu Mami Yoko Hotel in Aberdeen and Freetown.
The event sought to promote the development of a sound and technically strong insurance market in West Africa. The delegates pressed on issues relating financial crimes, which have been a growing concern across the continent. The Commissioner of Insurance, Sierra Leone Insurance Company, Atoyaski, said insurance companies play a vital role in risk management, climate change mitigation, and disaster management. He said a strong insurance market was key to combating these challenges. Deputy Minister of Finance too, Bokari Kaloko, said financial crimes such as cyber fraud and money laundering cost Africa an estimated loss of about $1 trillion United States dollars. He said Sierra Leone has made proactive measures to enhance its anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing framework. These, he noted, include legislative reforms, capacity building initiatives, and the introduction of a mutual insurance database aimed at sharing information among insurers.
One of the most transformational developments in our markets
is the introduction of the motor insurance database, which became fully operational in November 2022. Prior to this, the insurance industry in Sierra Leone was plagued by the illegal proliferation of fake insurance stickers sold by unscrupulous individuals to unsuspected car users. This malpractice led to significant financial leakages, causing both the industry and the government to lose substantial premium income and tax revenue.
It was also discussed that they will be implementing robust anti-money laundering programs, adhering to know your customer procedures, and leveraging technology for transaction monitoring. Who will be president of the West Africa Insurance Companies Association, Slbc, called upon financial stakeholders to collaborate more effectively to enhance integrity and accountability within the financial system.
The role of insurance could not be timely as various industries across West Africa are battling with growing challenges, and it is more prudent that we are discussing ways to tackle these challenges and continue meeting the expectations of our diverse stakeholders.
The opening ceremony concluded with a strong commitment from all member countries to work together in the fight against financial crimes, reinforcing the critical role insurers play in safeguarding economic stability in West Africa. Founded in 1973, Yenga serves as a collaborative platform for insurance companies and institutions in English-speaking West Africa, including the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. SLBC News are in Freetown. Christian Akama reporting.
The African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM, Chief Executive Officer, Ambassador Marie-Antoinette Rose Cattell, has arrived in Sierra Leone to participate in the South-to-South Cooperation Conference. Upon arrival, Ambassador Rose was received by Dr. Laka, Chairperson of the Sierra Leone's APRM National Governing Council, at the Seacoach Express Terminal in Aberdeen. During her visit, she is expected to engage with the National Governing Council to prepare for Sierra Leone's second-generation country review, focusing on assessing progress in governance and socio-economic development since the initial review. Here is an excerpt of her visit.
It really is a pleasure to be here in Sierra Leone. As you know, Sierra Leone was the chair of the African Peer Review Mechanism for 2 years, and your country has done extremely well. So it really is a pleasure for me to be here. My mission is obviously for the South-South and Triangular Cooperation High-Level Meeting, which will take place during the course of the week, and thereafter obviously we'll be meeting with the APRM National Governing Council to prepare for the country's second generation review. We're particularly excited about Sierra Leone's willingness to undertake yet another review. This for me speaks to the country's political commitment towards governance and democracy, and Sierra Leone has done a lot of progress with regards to good governance and democracy, and we stand ready to accompany the country yet through another review, and in particular for the implementation of the recommendations that will come out of the review. So I look forward to engaging with yourself. Thank you for the very warm welcome that I have received and my team have received in the beautiful capital city of Freetown. So I would like to thank yourself, His Excellency the President, and the government and the people of Sierra Leone for the warm welcome and hospitality. Thank you.
Well, that was Dr. Doramani Lako receiving the Ambassador Marie Quattao from the African Peer Review Mechanism. Now, to address the unfortunate situations that emerge from fake promises of opportunities abroad, a non-governmental organization, Advocacy and Support Network, has launched a renewed action plan to prevent many from becoming victims. Joyan Dumbuya attended the press conference at Special Court Building in Freetown and now reports.
In recent times, many citizens fell to scammers in pursuit of traveling abroad for better opportunities. Some of these have led to loss of lives and money. To help tackle this concern, a non-governmental organization, Advocacy and Support Network, met with young people to educate them on shared issues. At a recent press conference, the organization launched its strategic approach focused on advocacy, human rights protection, and community empowerment. CEO and co-founder of Advocacy and Support Network, Bintu Kagbo, emphasized on the organization's commitment to supporting victims and addressing the root causes of exploitation. She said they were dedicated to finding lasting solutions and restoring hope to affected communities.
So we all know that basic human rights affect millions of people worldwide, and perpetuating inequality, justice, and human suffering. So it is a complex issue that requires a multifaceted approach, and that's why we're here to work together to achieve this and also to address this. So we want to aim to provide advocacy and support for these services, that people that might come to us, that they are lost and they can't find their way, we're here to guide them and give them that helping hand.
A legal expert, Musa Berete, said there was a need for robust and legal measures to punish offenders. He called on authorities to enforce tough laws against fraud, which are linked to overseas scams.
We did vouch for Gideon with support, legal advice. We will help for bring litigations or legal actions against whoever defraud them with brothers and sisters and they are Sierra Leoneans. And whatever they within the law for assist this organization.
The non-governmental organization, Advocacy and Support Network, promised to continue championing awareness and education, aiming to equip citizens with the knowledge needed to avoid exploitation and make informed choices. SLBC Joyan Dumbuya.
The Union of Academic Staff Association is on the verge to hold its first ever retreat on the role of tertiary institutions in promoting quality education and the Big Five game changers. According to the Director of Head Alumni and International Relations, University of Sierra Leone, Dr. Tonia Musa, the engagement was to position institutions across the country ahead of the new curriculum to be introduced by the University of Sierra Leone. Here is an excerpt of his statement at Good Morning Sierra Leone program.
So if you put the 5 big game changers together, they require us in terms of immense inputs. Now moving forward, we are expecting several things to take place during the 3 days retreats. For example, we want to have clear roadmap at the end of the retreat in terms of what will be our roles, what will be our contributions towards the Big Five game changers, what will be our roles in terms of free quality education, and then also the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education is thinking about reviewing and amending the Universities Act 2021, given the things that we have identified as lacuna, loopholes, silence, or certain things that should be there that are not there. And then we actually need to make inputs. Beyond that also, there is the call for funding of tertiary institutions. We think that this can be an opportunity for us to have broader conversation. Let's start with the fact that our platform is not a political platform. That doesn't mean that people who are there may not be interested in politics, but when we speak non-political. Then moving forward also, we are talking about frank conversation. You and I know that there are people already in SS2 who will be in SS3 next year. Their curriculum is different from the curriculum that used to be, meaning they will now be getting to universities next year. And then they are doing AI, they are doing robotics and the like. we need to have frank conversation about our preparedness in terms of facilities, laboratories, and other things that the universities may have, and then also what could be entry requirements and what could be placement arrangement for them as when they come to the universities. We are also talking about revenue, resource mobilization. That also requires frank conversation so that we can actually look at, support to the universities from government, private sectors, and as well as development partners as we yearn for quality education. We are also going to engage in frank conversation pertaining to our conditions of service. The Universities Act 2021 provides for every 3 years. We have already done the first 3 years. We are now in another 3 years. So we need to have frank conversation about our conditions of service, and then also meeting our demands to ensure that we have, conducive learning environment. We are also going to talk about conditions of service. Beyond that, also student welfare. This is why they are part of our conversation. They are also our clients. They may have their concerns. And then we have to engage and streamline them in this process.
The St. George's Foundation has concluded a 3-day training in 3 villages in the northern region, including Magbam, Mashalo, and Mafula communities. The sessions focused on financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and the prevention of child marriage and gender-based violence in that part of the country. The Village and Saving Loan Association was also established. Esther Nenekama went along and now reports.
The St. George's Foundation primarily targeted women in Mabang, Moshelo, and Mafula villages in the Western Area Rural District. The 3-day training session on financial literacy, among other things, was to empower rural women and address key societal issues affecting communities. According to the project manager, St. George's Foundation, Aruna Mansare, they wanted to empower participants with knowledge and practical skills that could improve their lives and well-being of their families. Facilitator Patrick James Squierson from Munafa admonished participants on the importance of savings, how to start and sustain small businesses, and the benefits of savings.
The need for kids in case sickness come, how they will do for solve a problem. You begin in school one.
Meanwhile, the gender advocates at St. George Foundation, Aisatu Wurichalo, engaged women on the consequences of child marriage, child abuse, and the dangers of sexual and gender-based violence, equipping women with the knowledge on how to identify, prevent, and report short incidents.
For let the man them back go no say, they're not for the beat tuna, they're not for the do anything about thing, not so that government will arrest them and they go lock them up.
Participants from Moshelo village, Fatmata Kamara and Aminata Sise, said the training opened their eyes to the importance of saving money and the harmful effects of child marriage. They noted that, with the support of the foundation, they were now confident to start small businesses to support their children's education.
God ain't for bless them. We know bless them. God ain't for bless them because what you can do for you so that na the opportunity they count for you so. For can help you like can help you so they can help you so they pray for them.
You told this so we still for Bokuti, but now this thing just we don't cancel, so just foundation don't come. You know, so they can plenty thing there from them. So we tell them plenty thank you and may God bless them.
The training ended with the handing over of the community purpose box to the village. For Slbc News, Esther Nenekama reporting.
Well, from there, let's go over to our entertainment desk.
Hello and welcome to another exciting entertainment edition, and with me, Abdul Mansari. So in this edition, we have Iman Hotspin has just been qualified to the finals of the global musical competition organized by Timbaland, an American artist. And also we have Caldenero has just won the award of the best male rapper. And now Iman Hobson has just made a brief introduction and from his career into the competition and all sort of it.
Since 2009 I started for the music. I've been always like they get intentionally they put me raps in English. I mean rap all in English because of me going for make I like, do music where they will reach to the utmost of the world. So not too long, I think last month he began for hit me up around 2 o'clock, and after I be done like before he even hit me up, he be done like apply, put make an account for me and drop one of my songs them at the competition. So the other time he just messaged me, hey man, you just don't qualify to the next round. You understand? Yeah, like Inbid already starts the entire movement on my behalf until I qualify to the next round. We then pick my song out. Then he get for involved me, say this is the situation. So
he also made mention about the process in which the voting is conducted. Of course, he said the voting is really simple, and they have the free method of voting. And also, if you have a credit card or so, you can still support him, as that will help immensely in his career.
At first, it was that easy because my manager would go through all the process for open accounts, and after we come to the second to third, then I realized, hey, man, this is not going to be as easy as we think, because even forget Sierra Leoneans for votes for you, you have to deal with a lot of energy. So one of the strategies that maybe they use to because the idea from my manager actually, like I go host stores, you understand? I go host stores, they knock on people, then do much, they beg them for votes for me. So like even that, because like now one email account per one vote. Yeah. So if I go to a household, we like maybe like 4 people they use Android phone, at least I don't get four free votes. If fortunate to meet somebody the way like they use credit card and all, you can buy some votes for me, and that could boost me up.
All right. And finally, we have Ambassador Caldinero, a sensational Sierra Leonean rapper known as Amara Toure, has on Saturday, the 3rd May 2025, bagged the African Golden Award with the title Best Male Hip Hop or Rap Artist. And hours ago, the sensational rapper has just posted on his Facebook page sending post-awards messages to his fans and giving appreciations for their relentless contributions and support in him winning this particular competition.
Hey, what's up? This is Scotty Benero, Sierra Leone hip-hop artist, and I just want to take this time out to thank everybody that contributed for the great win at the African Golden Award in Nairobi, Kenya. I was really working towards being there, you know, because of flight difficulties. The flights that was available was Ethiopian Airways and Kenya Airways. I will arrive in Nairobi like around 2 a.m. That I want to have long finished, you know, so it's unfortunate, but hopefully we're going to be winning more, you know what I mean? So I want to thank the organizers in Nairobi at the African Golden Awards. I want to thank my fans, Sierra Leone, you know what I mean, the whole continent, everybody that voted for me, you know, to be the best hip-hop artist in the continent. I salute y'all, you know.
Well, that's all we have in this edition of Entertainment News, and I've been your presenter, Abdul Mansari. Bye-bye.
Alright, many thanks to our entertainment desk for that update. Let's now find out the latest in sports.
Today is that tomorrow we talked about yesterday. It's the sporting updates that keeps you in the know. Now, the euphoria in Freetown was electric as Sierra Leone's women's national cricket team, the Ladies Patriots, were greeted by jubilant fans upon their return from a successful campaign at the BCA Kalahari Women's T20 competition in Gaborone, Botswana. Here is the update. Their journey from Hastings through the streets of Freetown concluded in an exciting welcome at the Kintom Oval, a testament to the nation's pride in their achievement. Chairman of Cricket Sierra Leone, Francis Trevor Samura, lauded the team's exceptional performance on behalf of the board. He also used the occasion to passionately appeal to the government for increased financial backing as the Ladies Patriots set their sight on the upcoming ICC qualifiers in Rwanda.
World Cup qualifier, na the eye for the ball enough for pulley eye for the ball. Eyes on the ball. Eyes on the ball, and the ball like the ICC Women's T20 Cricket World Cup African Division 2 qualifier. Rwanda had one group A, then they with Malawi and other teams them. Sierra Leone safe day. Na Botswana had one group based on how we finished the last time na Botswana 2015. On behalf of my colleagues in the board, management and staff, the members council, I received this trophy in good faith and in the true spirit of cricket. I thank you for your selfless contribution to ensure that this gold is won and brought to our people. We will present this trophy to the National Sport Authority, the NOC, the Ministry of Sport, and possibly the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, who happens to be not only the first gentleman, the fountain of honor and justice of the Republic of Sierra Leone.
Madam Pamela Williams, Commissioner of the Women and Sports Commission, expressed gratitude to the team for their inspiring success in Botswana, adding a voice to the growing calls for greater investment in cricket.
All understand. We done the work for sports for quite a long time. But when the crave say, the discipline, the way they win, that they for put attention to. So I think the time that it's now under President Bio that for turn their attention now to cricket, especially for the women. The women they don't struggle for quite a long time. I go for congratulate you now.
Highlighting the magnitude of their triumph in Gaborone, Madam Elizabeth French, head of women's cricket, emphasized the crucial need for sustained support to further women's cricket in Sierra Leone.
We have to hold ourselves together, play as a team, because we are the unbeatable team. And we have to go for it for the second time again for the ICC tournament. And we have to go to Rwanda again. So I want the best support from the government of Sierra Leone to support cricket in general, not only in football. And we have won so many trophies.
Adding to the layer of appreciation and future aspirations, Anne-Marie Kama, who was crowned the most valuable player of the tournament, conveyed her immense delight at receiving the prestigious recognition. She also passionately joined the appeal for increased support for women's cricket in the nation.
First time I always keep over and perform well. I mean, it means a lot to me because for me, I can this tournament, I left my sister away sick and then decide to attend this tournament. So it's a bit challenging to me.
The triumphant return of the Ladies Patriots, coupled with the heartfelt appeals from key figures and the star player, underscored the growing excitement and immense potential within women's cricket in Sierra Leone as they now eagerly anticipate the ICC qualifiers in Rwanda. And that ends the sporting update that keeps you in the know.
Many thanks to Abdul Kabir for that update, and that's all we have time for in this edition of the news from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Now, to end the news, your top stories again. Sierra Leone has assumed the chair of the Peace and Security Council of the African Union for the month of May. Sierra Leone's ambassador to the African Union, who is also accredited to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, Harold Safa, is due to assume the role as chair of the continent's Peace and Security Council. The West African Insurance Companies Association has held its annual general meeting and conference on the theme Battling Financial Crimes in West Africa, the Role of Insurers. The event seeks to strengthen the insurance market across member countries. And residents of Yenga town and its environs in Kisiten Chiefdom Kailawan district have called on the government to take decisive actions in solving the long-standing land border dispute concerning Yenga, a territory claimed by both Sierra Leone and Guinea. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of the news from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation in Freetown. Thanks for watching, and do continue to stay tuned to the public broadcaster, the SLBC. Coming up next is Good Morning Sierra Leone. I am Cecilia Adesise. Goodbye.
We are the national broadcaster, and I am Sulaiman Baba Toure, a reporter and presenter at the SLBC. Your voice, my voice.
From the commercial department, I am Regina Bangura. You are watching SLBC. Your voice, my voice.
I am Jonathan Turner, a reporter for Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC. As a reporter, I do stories on education, health, politics, and more. Stay glued with SLBC to watch my stories. Your voice, my voice.
Lucian Ganda, producer Wayus, and producer and presenter Christian Editions on TV. This is the SLBC.
I am William Wise, presenter Wayus and also reporter at the SLBC, and this is the SLBC.
I am Salma Tabak, television executive producer. I produce programs on both radio and television. I'm a news anchor, a presenter, an announcer on radio. I enjoy what I do because I serve a public service broadcaster. It's a pleasure to work with the SLBC. I am Tilly Koma, Head of News and Current Affairs Unit, Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Our news hour now covers several segments. We have entertainment, business, weather, sports, ferry schedule, and human interest stories, not forgetting politics. We are doing all that to keep you people posted on what's happening all over the country. Thanks for being with us at SLBC. Keep blue. We are the best.
Discover Sierra Leone, a hidden gem of West Africa, where the rhythms of life dance in harmony with the beauty of nature.
Feel the heartbeat of our culture in every beat of the drum, in every step of the dance.
Experience the tranquility of our shores, where each sunrise brings new stories and endless possibilities.
Immerse yourself in the vibrant tapestry of our daily life, where every color tells a tale and every face a friend.
Come, be enchanted by the sights and sounds of Sierra Leone.
A place where your adventure awaits
And memories are made.
Well, today is the 6th of May 2025. This is how we welcome you to our breakfast show, Good Morning Sierra Leone, on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. This is the program that starts your day with news analysis and in-depth review of news and views of national concern. I am Emmanuel Samoa. Well, we start with the quote. Our quote of the day is from an American educator, Horace Mann, and it says, "Habit is a cable. We weave a thread of it each day, and at last we cannot break it." Indeed. Coming up, Chairman Coalition of Civil Societies in Sierra Leone speaks on the Yenga issue. And as the world gears up to observe World Pre-Eclampsia Day, Well Body Partnership and King's College London raise awareness about pre-eclampsia. We invite you to participate by sending your text message to the number displayed on your screen, or join us on Facebook at SLBC Live and other social media handles. The program you are watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. You're watching this Good Morning Sierra Leone live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Entirely, I told you, if you want to be part of the program, you can please send in your text message to the number displayed on your screen, or join us on Facebook at SLBC Live. We start the conversation proper to our first headline story. A high-level government delegation visited Koindu town in the Kisiteng Chiefdom on Saturday, 3rd May 2025 to address the long-standing border dispute concerning Yenga, a territory claimed by both Sierra Leone and Guinea. The delegation included the Minister and Deputy Ministers of Internal Affairs and Defense, senior representatives from the Office of National Security, the Sierra Leone Armed Forces, and the police. The visit followed rising tensions between local youth of Yenga town and the Guinean Armed Forces, following the displacement of Sierra Leonean citizens in Yenga. The Republic of the Sierra Leone Armed Forces has already set up a garrison near the disputed Yenga village. Yenga is a village situated in the Kisiteng Chiefdom in eastern Sierra Leone. It has been a focal point of territorial dispute between Sierra Leone and Guinea. The area gained significance during the conflict in Sierra Leone, as it was occupied by Guinean troops who assisted in the fight against the Revolutionary United Front. This involvement has contributed to the ongoing tension between the two nations regarding the control of that area. For more on this, we have the Executive Director of Health for All Coalition, Charles Mambu, who has been raising concerns regarding this Yenga issue. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Sierra Leone.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Good morning, Sierra Leone.
We know that the Yenga issue is a decades old issue, over 20 years issue, and concerns from different people have come up, but the situation has deteriorated to an extent that Sierra Leoneans have been displaced. What are the specific issues that you are raising at this time?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like you said, some of us has followed the issue of Yenga since 2002. This is over 22 years. We are still following it. We had the Guineans who occupied that place after during the war to prevent the incursion into Guinea by the NPFL that was fighting in Liberia, their rebels not to go. They initially went there as an agreement between Guinea and Sierra Leone so that they can, while they were supporting Sierra Leone, they can prevent the rebels from entering into Guinea as well. And like we said in our press release, we have a very good relationship with Guinea as a country and as a people. And Guinea is our brother. you know, because they were the first country that came to Sierra Leone in April 1991 to assist the government of Sierra Leone, you know, to get rid of the rebels. You know, some of us saw that in Daru. But then, after the war, I think we said a lot of good things about them, and it was time for them to leave Yenga and other territories they have been part of in Sierra Leone. Unfortunately, Guinea continued to occupy Yenga illegally, and after more than 20 years of negotiation, where we have had Mano River Union, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, 2 or 3 past presidents from both Sierra Leone and Guinea have been involved in those negotiations. ECOWAS has been, Mano River Union, AU has been. Yet still we have not seen any tangible result, good result that is coming out of that. What we have been seeing is that Guinea continue to be very adamant in their decision or in their quest to hold on to Yenga as a part that belongs to them, which we do agree. So since 2019 to 2022, we saw another big development, very bad one, where the Guinean troop and the Guinean government now constructed a military barracks. They have redeployed over 300 troops. They have armor cars, war tank, machine guns, AK-47 and other light weapons. They have now permanently, this was not before. In fact, by 2015, you know, after the visit of former presidents Anes Nkrumah and the Guinean and Liberia president in Kwendu, you know, they signed a memorandum of understanding which actually resulted to the total withdrawal of Guinean troops and all their armories from the land of Yenga back to Guinea. Some of us were there. We saw it happen. We escorted the war tanks, the armor cars, and the troops that were leaving. But then Yenga was still a buffer zone, and that's the agreed upon until the final resolution. And all of those agreements actually stated that Yenga belongs to Sierra Leone. You know, however, we are seeing another bad development where they have now constructed a very big barracks. They have done deployed, and they are even now attempting to escalate, you know, into other lands beyond Yenga. Mind you, the village of Yenga itself, before this time, there were no Guinean troops there. In the village, this is a small village, but there are inhabitants there. But now they have come beyond the village. They have erected their own border posts, you know, and a signboard and a flag saying that that place belonged to them since 1845, which is a lie. So for us as civil society, coalition of civil society, we have met last week and yesterday we had the press conference. First, we are condemning the continuous illegal occupation of that land. We are calling on the government and people of Sierra Leone to be more serious, extremely now more serious about the Yenga issue, because with all indications, with all the lobbying, with all the talking, with all the visit of delegation from Sierra Leone to Guinea and Guinea to Sierra Leone, including the current military head of state, General Dumbuya, who actually entered Guinea, Sierra Leone, and was allowed to enter here with massive weaponries and military build-up up to our level of state house. You know, that was a sign of brotherhood, you know, that was manifested by President Bio to General Dumbuya. But I think he did not realize that. Now they are continuing even to engage, building more barracks, more houses, you know, and now preventing our people from actually staying in their land, saying it belongs to them.
Mr. Mambu, I want to ask, how effective has this your advocacy been on this Yenga? Because as you rightly stated, I when this issue unfolded, I was at Yenga. I was at there this weekend, so I saw everything firsthand. How effective has your advocacy? Because as you rightly stated, in 2019 they started to construct some of these permanent structures, but according to the youth in those areas, they said they stood against it, and they started fighting against the Guinean ministry. They said, but they were prevented by authorities in that area. So where were you back then? Yeah. Not to voice these things out.
Yeah,
these are red flags.
Yeah, let me tell you this. It's not my campaign, it's our campaign. You understand? I will tell you why. The war started in Kailan district, March 23rd, 1991. It ended up at State House in Freetown. Thousands of people were killed. Properties were destroyed. It was not just Mambo's campaign. The Ebola of 2014 started in Kailan district. It ended up in State House. Thousands of people were killed. So when you see an early warning, which for some of us have seen, we have participated in war, we have participated in peace building and peacekeeping in Sierra Leone and in other countries. We have been the voice of peace to other countries. You understand? So this is not my campaign. It's our campaign, including you. That this time round, we should not leave any stone unturned. The government of Sierra Leone should be seen more visible and more serious into reclaiming the land of Yenga. You understand? Like I said earlier, I've been to Yenga several times, more than 20 times since 2004. This is a long time. We've been on it. When they started building permanent structure between in 2019, 2020, I came back in this same studio, we issued a press release and we engaged the government, we engaged the other people that this is the development that is taking place in
what we are the responsible?
Let me say this. Government of Sierra Leone to a large extent have not been saying too serious about the Yenga issue. They are playing a lot of diplomacy over it, and that diplomacy and the method they have been using have not yielded any fruitful result. We are not calling for a conflict between us. We are peacemakers. You know, that's why in our press release we have asked every citizen, including our youth at Koinu and Kailan district, to remain peaceful, to be law-abiding, and to listen, you know, to the command from the central government. But what we are also saying, they say the people who have now to stand up to force our government, you know, to engage in a much more peaceful but forceful and determined action to take Yenga from the Guinean forces, and that will happen. You can use diplomacy, and that's why we have said let's not escalate this issue to another level, and the next level is taking this matter to the International Court of Justice. Let them come in now, because other methods have failed, you know, us for over 22 years, you know. So we now have to move. For us as CSO, we are complementing the effort of, you know, there are issues where government hands are normally tied. You know, especially when it comes to diplomacy and international relations. You know, for some of us who are knowledgeable in some of these things, you need to identify activities that you, the people, can now embark on that will be a weapon, a peaceful weapon in the hands of the government that will show the international community that our people are now angry and they want this thing to happen. And that's what we did. We did it during the war. May 8, 2000, we overthrew the Fode Sanko. We went to his house at Spur Road. 22 people of our colleagues were killed. Next tomorrow is the 25th anniversary of that. You know, when we wanted to march up, the civil society and the members of parliament, President then of blessed memory, President Kama, disagreed with us. We had a meeting with him at lunch, you know, a whole day meeting, and he said, no, Fode Sanko is in Freetown, but he is armed. And we said, no, Mr. President, you cannot allow Fode Sanko to be in Freetown with his own army when we have the UN team here and our own Sierra Leone army to protect him. He disagreed. We went to parliament. Kripido, who was the IG there, also, you know, followed the route of former President Kaba, and we said, no, we even abandoned him at the House of Parliament. The next day we went to Fode Sanko. Fode Sanko was overthrown. Fode Sanko was arrested, and we saw how it ended. And those were the start of the end of the war. So in this case, what we are now saying to our government, we want to strengthen the hands of the government of Sierra Leone, strengthen the hands of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Now they are taking some action. The military have been deployed in Yenga, which is very good, and we want more of those military to be deployed. We also want to see the government of Sierra Leone now start building permanent barracks at Yenga. You understand? So that the Guineans said, no, this business is no longer. The matter is no longer business as usual. Sierra Leone government and the people will be pushing. In the afternoon of today, leaders of civil society in Freetown, we are meeting again. And we're going to send a letter to the IG requesting for permission because we want to organize a massive demonstration at against the occupation of Guinean forces in Yenga. We want to present a petition, a position paper to the Guinean embassy, to the Nigerian embassy, to American ambassador, to the British High Commission, and above all to the UN coordinator, who is one of the guarantors of our peace process in Sierra Leone. Let them know to wait. It's an early warning. If prevention is better than cure, and that's why we stated in our president. So we're going to start now engaging. While we are engaging there, our action will now be a strong voice to the government of President Bill to take it to the international community to say, no, look at it, General Dumbuya, you have to withdraw this truth from this end because the people are now angry.
Okay, so continue to stay with us. It is Charles Mambu, who is the Executive Director of Health for All Coalition, talking on the Yenga issue. Well, we go to another issue that has to do with politics. The Sam Sumana camp has raised concerns over Sam Sumana's membership in the APC. Well, to talk more on this, we have Brahma Michael Ture in the studio. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning, Sir.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
Well, the general public know that Sam Sumana has joined the APC. So, what other issues do you guys have with his membership?
Well, it is issues that the party probably have with his membership, not us as a movement.
So what are these issues when the APC has not come out to the public?
The APC operatives, that is members of their publicity team, keep telling the public that Chief Sam Sumana is coming back to the APC as a new member, which is not the case. And they keep saying that Chief Sam Sumana is not eligible to participate in the 2026 flag bearer race, which is not true, because if they read the very constitution, it's clearly spelled out there the circumstances why we strongly believe, based on what is contained in that constitution, that Chief Sam Sumana is qualified to participate in the 2026 flag bearer race. And I can give you just a synopsis of what we have by way of our...
So give us the synopsis.
Chief Sam Sumana, as we all know, was expelled from the APC after certain people within the party lied against him. False allegations were raised against him, and some of these people have actually come back to say, yes, indeed, we lied. To say, yes, indeed, we lied. And so that had been established a long time ago, that people had now come forward to say we lied. And so under normal circumstances, if you accuse someone of a crime and you convict that person wrongfully, and later on new evidence proved that that conviction was wrongfully carried out, you would have to throw that case out. In certain cases, you compensate the person for what they have gone through because of the wrong conviction. In this case, we're not pushing for that. We're only saying we have come back. And so Chief Sam Sumana, after all that happened, wrote to the APC on the 7th of January 2020 to say, I want to come back to the political party of my fathers. Because Chief Sam Sumana's father and me and a few others in Kono at that time were the ones who were financing the APC. APC was broke at the time. And so I'm coming back to my father's party. They accepted that letter, and the National Advisory Committee, which is the second highest decision-making body of the APC, met on the 8th of September 2020. On that day that they met, it was Corona time. So therefore, gatherings were not permitted, because they should have had a National Delegates Conference at that time, because their time had expired as a body, and so they needed to extend that time. But it is only in a National Delegates Conference that you would do that. But because it was Corona time and a time of emergency, and the Constitution has somewhere there that says in times of emergency, that same body, the NAC, could perform the duties of the National Delegates Conference. So on that material day that they extended their time in order for them to be able to continue with the business of the party and be legitimate, was the same day that they approved Sam Sumana's return to the APC. So that was the 8th of September 2020. So on the 10th of September 2020, they sent him a letter to say, you have been reinstated. keep in mind that word. You have been reinstated into the APC. So from 2020 to today, 2025, in September 10, he would be 5 years in the APC. So the 5 years clause that they are banking on does not affect him at all. He would have been 5 years in the APC. So by 2026 next year, he would have been over 5 years. So overqualified to participate.
So, Mr. Tue, you know, when after, you know, some Sumana issues came up, he granted an interview to a journalist. That interview was played, and the following day, the APC Secretariat, they put out a press release to, you know, to iron out some issues in that press release, where the Secretary General, I think by then he said he was not reinstated. He used another word to say, to make some clarifications on that, and you are saying now some operatives within the APC, wherein a press release to the effect shows that from the APC Secretariat, the Secretary General himself was against the statement of Sam Sumana in the interview, saying that he was reinstated. That means he got his whole, let me say, party number again.
So Sam Sumana did not write that letter to himself. It was the then National Secretary General, no less a person than Ambassador Usman Fodi Hassani, acting in the capacity of National Secretary General for the APC at that time, that wrote the letter to Chief Sam Sumana on behalf of the APC party to say, you have been reinstated, your expulsion lifted, your reinstatement to be endorsed at a National Delegates Conference. And in 2023, that endorsement was done publicly before the delegates. So whatever the National Secretary General now is talking is something that I don't understand, because he can read, he's a lawyer, he has a copy of the letter. As early as yesterday, we sent another copy to them just to remind them that this is the letter that you sent to us in 2020, just in case you don't have a copy of that, since you are in the habit of losing documents or whatever, or pretending that you don't have something. So we sent it back to them. Look at it.
But
okay.
Who was the then Secretary General who you said authored that letter is currently the Vice Chairman of this executive.
Yes.
And I believe the Secretariat will not author anything without the permission of the Chairman and that of the Vice Chairman.
So don't you see what is wrong with the whole picture? That's the reason why we're coming out and talking about it, and also preparing to take action about it. Because where you have the very person who sent us the letter now acting in the capacity of Deputy Chairman, a higher level in the party, and who is expected to advise them that yes, I did author this letter and it's authentic. We have a copy as a party, and the man we sent that letter to has a copy. Therefore, let us resolve this matter amicably. Where that is not happening and games are being played, as we are now seeing, one person will go out and say one thing, somebody else will go out and say something else. It is becoming like monotonous, like a bit confusing. And so we want to make sure that we correct that confusion. That's why we're educating people on what happened, and also making sure we're preparing ourselves to make sure that he is not disadvantaged by anyone.
So Mr. Tue, during the previous APC, the last convention that they held in Makeni, the National Delegates Conference, part of the agenda was accepting the members, not part of that agenda.
Yes, exactly. So that's another thing, a whole other thing, because it was a court ordered. The court ordered the party to go to Makeni and do two specific things. Go and adopt your constitution and resolve all unresolved membership disputes. Two key things. They went and adopted the constitution without resolving all the membership disputes and came back to the court. The court fined the Secretary General 30 million leones for not doing the other part of the court order. They went back in 2023 and carried out with all the elections and all that thing, adopted the constitution, did everything, and did not resolve all of the outstanding membership disputes.
So you want to tell the public that the APC, that his membership issues was never part of the agenda of the previous, 2023 National Delegate Conference held in McKinney.
It was a court ordered thing, but they never actually did it. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's something they were supposed to do but never did. So that is a matter between them and the court, the judge who actually gave the orders. I'm sure when they finally face that judge again, he would have the opportunity to ask them why they did not carry through with the orders that he gave them at that time. But that is a matter between them and that judge, not us. For us, what we're following is to make sure that no one disenfranchised Chief Samsumana. Now they have put out a timetable for lower level elections, and his issue is still hanging in the balance. So Chief Samsumana, from today, anytime from today, is going to the party to verify his membership like everyone else. You know, the registration started last year, registration and verification of membership. So he is going to verify his membership. The outcome of that verification will determine the next steps.
So let me before I leave you, let's, during the time that Chief Samsumana received that letter from Ambassador Usman Fode Yansane, was his membership number not indicated there? Because from what you are saying, this is where the things are playing. Was it not indicated there that, oh, this is your membership ID?
So let me tell you, there's a whole confusion in membership issue within the APC, not just for Chief Samsumana. When this whole matter between Afebita Conte was going on between the APC and the courts, the APC was required to submit a membership list to the PPRC. The then Secretary General, Ambassador Usman Fode Yansane, compiled a list with names of a little over 843 or 845 or thereabout. Now I can tell you, the majority of members, those who are now even in the NAC, their names were not on that list that Ambassador Usman Fode Yansane submitted to the PPRC. So the question of membership has been a problem within the APC for a very long time, not just with Samsumana. On that day that the letter was sent to him, it was not about establishing membership numbers. It's about telling him that from this day, you have become a member of the APC again. You have come back to the APC. You've been reinstated. Understand? So you start counting from that day, the 10th of September. That was when he returned back to the APC, officially, based on that letter. So if you're counting, it's from that day. From that day to now, it's 5 years.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say here.
Okay.
So, but here is one key thing when we're talking about membership. Because when you question the membership of someone, you have to be very careful what your constitution is also saying about membership. In Article 10E of that same constitution that they are flashing all over the place, it is stated there that a person shall only be deemed to have been enrolled into the party on the date his name is entered in the register.
So did you verify whether his name was entered in the register as at the time the letter was issued out?
So probably don't even talk about Samsumana. Talk about all of them who are now saying they are qualified.
Okay.
Their names are not even, some of them, their names are not even in register as at now. So they are new. From last year to now, whoever's name is in that register is a new member.
Okay.
So they have to be able to think about that first and worry about that instead of Samsumana's membership.
Okay.
Because as far as we know, he is a full-fledged member of the APC and qualified to participate in the 2026 flag bearer race. Period.
Okay, so thank you very much. Continue to stay with us. He is Brahma Michael Toure. That is interesting for the political landscape of Sierra Leone. Well, we go to Health Tips, where today on Health Tips we learn more about dyslexia. Dyslexia is a learning disability that disrupts how your brain processes written language. People with dyslexia have trouble with reading and related skills. It's very treatable and it doesn't have to stand in the way of success.
The dyslexia is a brain-based disorder. So that means that there's a mishap with the firing of the way our brain, different areas in our brain, communicate with each other. About 20% of the US population has dyslexia. A lot of people have it and they don't know they have it. Genetics play a huge role in this. So if a child has parents or even grandparents or aunts and uncles or cousins, we don't know the percentage of how genetic this is, but it is highly, highly genetic. People think of that intelligence has to do with dyslexia, and that is not true. I've actually tested many children who have average intelligence and even very above average intelligence. It is more than just turning your letters backwards or upside down. It has to do with understanding what we read. It has to do with spelling, writing, and how we form our written expression. There's a lot of different people that can test for this. And testing can last a very long time. It can go on for a couple of days, depending on what you're looking at. It can go on for several hours with breaks. We'll assess language skills, how they produce their language verbally. Are their sentences making sense? Do they use good vocabulary? We assess receptive language, or how they're understanding. We also look at memory. And it's important to say too that dyslexia, we call it a spectrum disorder. So what that means, and you've heard that with other disorders as well, is that it ranges from very severe to very minimal. I have never seen two children that are exactly alike. Once again, you think of all those parts of the brain working together.
Well, I believe viewers, that video whet your appetite to do more research on this particular health condition, which is dyslexia. Well, in the studio, we continue the program. May 22nd is World Pre-Eclampsia Day. Well, Body Partnership and King's College London are campaigning to raise awareness about pre-eclampsia, or fix a condition that affects many pregnant women and their children in Sierra Leone. This is to provide a greater opportunity to motivate women to attend antenatal care early and promote awareness on risk and symptoms of pre-eclampsia to educate both healthcare workers and the community. In studio, we have Rosalita Tugbabu, specialist obstetrician gynecologist, PCMH. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning, Sierra.
Good morning, Sierra Leone.
So, in the simplest of terms, what sort of health condition can someone refer to as pre-eclampsia?
So, pre-eclampsia is one of the hypertensive disorders of pregnancy, wherein you have new onsets of high blood pressure associated with either protein in the urine, or you have dysfunction of other organs like the kidneys, the liver, even the brain. That's when we say we have pre-eclampsia. And then in the worst case scenario, if not treated, it will now go to what we call eclampsia. Pre is before eclampsia. Eclampsia is when you have the hypertensive disorder as well as convulsion, fix. Like people will say somebody is having fix, you have convulsion. So that's what pre-eclampsia is.
So what are some of the things that causes this pre-eclampsia?
Okay, pre-eclampsia, we have what we call risk factors. That's somebody will have, for them to be predisposed to pre-eclampsia. One will be if you have had the very pre-eclampsia in a previous pregnancy, or is somebody who is hypertensive, you have a disease like diabetes mellitus, chronic kidney disease, autoimmune disease like antiphospholipid syndrome, systemic lupus erythematosus. Those are the major risks. So the moderate risks are there when you are in your first pregnancy, or the age above 35, people who are obese, they are at increased risk of presenting preeclampsia.
So can all of this condition, is it only when a woman has it, or can the child contact this particular condition from the father?
Preeclampsia actually is the woman's body is producing a sort of resistance or interaction against the paternal gene. The paternal gene is what produces the placenta, the afterbirth, that is implanted in the uterus of the woman. So whenever there is abnormality in that placenta formation, then there is tendency for preeclampsia to exist. Then there is genetic predisposition one of the soft marker, the low or moderate risk factor is if you have a family history of preeclampsia, there is tendency the child later on, who is a female, may end up developing preeclampsia. And then also environmental factors, exposure to some of the foods we eat may also predispose us to having preeclampsia, but it's really an autoimmune problem as well as a genetic problem.
So you want to say if the man who impregnates the woman is with some of these conditions, let me say diabetes, or the man is obese, then woman is not with any of these conditions, then the man has never got anyone in his family who must have had such illnesses or health condition. You want to say that the child that will be born of that woman will not be affected by this particular situation?
So the risk factors I noted, we are all for the woman, not the man. So the man only comes in if this is the first time your first sexual partner, or let's say you've given birth before, and then you are meeting this other man to get pregnant. His own semen is new to the body, so that may be a risk factor. But it's not like because the man is obese, he has kidney disease, so that will happen, except if the child developed chronic kidney disease as a result of inherited gene, then that will put her at risk of developing preeclampsia, but it's maternal lineage.
So how does women attending early antenatal care, how does it prevent preeclampsia from that for children?
Okay, so attending antenatal clinic before 12 weeks is actually a good thing, because by then we'll take history from you to find out the risk factors. If we identify any one of them present in the pregnant woman, then we'll put in strategies like giving her aspirin to prevent the onset of preeclampsia. We'll put her on calcium supplements, and then her ANC care will be a one that is not just the generalized one, it will be a focused ANC care, because we know this is a high risk pregnancy. And we can even start preventing preeclampsia prior to pregnancy. So let's say you are a diabetic woman, hypertensive, chronic kidney disease. We want to make sure those diseases are placed under control before you even get pregnant. And then we'll start your prophylactic aspirin and calcium prior to that. And then we can also do Doppler scan to predict women who have risks of developing preeclampsia. And then each time when they come for the antenatal clinic, we'll use the cradle device to check their blood pressure. So when we check the blood pressure, we have values that we consider normal and values we consider abnormal. So if your blood pressure, the upper limit is above 140 or the lower limit is above 90, then we will say this woman is hypertensive. So we'll have to measure that value 4 hours apart, 2 readings. Then we know that, because it's possible that somebody just walked in and you take the blood pressure, you don't say that person is hypertensive, you have to wait and then repeat it. However, if the blood pressure is very high, say 160 over 110, then you only wait for 10 minutes, because in that case you have hypertensive emergency, you need to act faster.
So in an instance, you know, because we know we have these rural people inside the rural communities, maybe they do not have this type of education, then they must have given birth to a certain child who is with this type of condition. Is this condition curable?
Yeah, preeclampsia, when it's set in, the only treatment for preeclampsia is delivery. So it's not like because you develop preeclampsia there is a specific medication. It's the placenta that is causing resistance to blood flow to the fetus, and then increasing the blood pressure of the mother. So when you deliver the woman, whether through vaginal delivery or through cesarean section, you get rid of the placenta, and then the preeclampsia disease process will now start aborting.
Does this lead to death of women when they go into labor?
Yes. In fact, currently, maternal mortality, the second highest cause of maternal mortality is hypertensive disorder, preeclampsia and eclampsia after obstetric hemorrhages. and then for as of 2024 last year. So eclampsia had the total maternal mortality rate we had 13% was as a result of eclampsia, and 70% as a result of preeclampsia with severe feature ADPCMH. And nationally, our statistics for the mortality for preeclampsia is around 16%. And then for all the major direct obstetric complications that we have between 27 to 31% now.
So from all your percentage, doctor, from all your percentage, it shows that this particular situation is really something that is alarming, you know, when it talks about this particular issue of women dying. Why has it not been, why have you guys not been vociferous about it to make the public know, unless when the day is, when you're about to commemorate the day, you come and say, okay, let's raise more awareness about this?
We always, each time we have our antenatal clinics, whether it is in the PHU, whether it is in the hospitals, before we start seeing the patients, we tell them about different complications during pregnancy. But the challenge we have in Sierra Leone is the illiteracy rate, and then the access also to healthcare. We know that there are community health posts all across the country, but then we still have a gap to cover. We have issues with manpower. If you go to PCNH now, patients coming in for booking, you will have above 100 for a day. Then the continuing patients coming, they will be maybe around 200, 300. And you have, let's say, 4 doctors to see all of them. And you have to pay attention to each one in detail. So it's quite a challenge. One, the resources, because coming to talk on television program, you have to prepare that. And then if you say you are using social media, not everybody have access to telephones or to the smartphones to see the WhatsApp messages. So those are challenges. There is a gap in communication, but I am a clinician, so we are also advocating for the public health specialists to engage in the advocacy aspect as well, to engage the community, to educate them in the simplest form for them to understand that whenever you have severe headache, or you are having chest pain, or you are not seeing clearly, please go to the nearest health center.
That's for
you don't need to go to the biggest hospital. You go to the nearest health center. We have PHUs.
Are you talking about pregnant women?
Yes. They should go there, and then they will check their blood pressure and determine whether they are hypertensive or not, and then they will refer them appropriately. But then booking ANC early and following up with the ANC regularly, because some people, they will just go register and they will never go back. So if you don't go back, they won't detect what's going on with you. We have intervals. You come, we check your blood pressure, check your urine, look at the general well-being, not just for the hypertension, for other diseases that will be surveillance in during pregnancy.
Okay, so finally, before we leave you, you'll be commemorating this particular day on the 22nd of this month. What do you aim to achieve in this year's commemoration?
We want to raise awareness for people to understand the pregnant women, their spouses, the community in general, because it's not just the pregnant woman. The spouses contribute a lot, because if the woman needs to go to the hospital, she doesn't have money to pay for transportation. That's when the spouse comes in. So everybody is a concerted effort, the community, the civil society, the public health specialists, the PHUs, the pastors, the imams. We should talk about preeclampsia. It is killing our people. Most of them, they come with them unconscious. Some of them, they are already in advanced stage kidney failure. And you know, we have only one facility for dialysis. So, and when you get to that level, it's like you are going to no return. So don't wait until you have complications that involve now your convulsion, because preeclampsia can lead to stroke, kidney failure, liver failure, bleeding disorders, death. The baby can die in utero or even just after delivery.
Okay. So
and you can have hypertension that will extend even after pregnancy.
Okay, so thank you very much for that education about preeclampsia. I hope if you be watching, you've learned something good about this particular health condition. She is Rosalita Tugbabu, the specialist obstetrician gynecologist at PCMH in Freetown, talking about the preeclampsia health condition. Well, we still have Mr. Charles Mambu with us in the studio, the chairman of Coalition of Civil Society, who was talking about the Yenga issue. Mr. Mambu, before, because time is not our friend, before we leave you, and during that meeting, just after the meeting, the youth of Yenga, you know, they have given timelines for government to act. They said if government does not act, they will act themselves, and they are now saying that they should people should calm down. Whilst those people who are displaced, there is still no assurance as to when they will get back. They will go back to their places.
Thank you. I tell you, from His Excellency the President to the Honorable Vice President, all cabinet ministers and parliamentarians, and all wishers and citizens of Sierra Leone, as we are talking now, know that there is going to be a deadline for the withdrawal of Guinean forces from the land of Sierra Leone by any means so far, rather than that of violence. But there is now that call, and that timetable will have to be spelled out clearly. You understand? To get us to that level, we need the participation and partnership with all our moral guarantors, the UN system, the ECOWAS system, the bilateral engagement with our embassies.
All of these people that you are calling, they've been on this process for decades.
Yeah, no, but it has not. No, it has not deteriorated. Yeah, no, it has not. No, it's actually deteriorated to the level where we are from 2019 to date. It was not as deteriorated as it is, like I told you.
That's why I said as time progresses.
Yeah, no, as time progresses, because we are seeing now examples which we have not seen before. There were no Guinean permanent structures and families of soldiers and the large number of soldiers stationed in that place. Now it has happened. So the voices of the youth in Kailan district is the voices of all the youth in Sierra Leone. But what some of us are saying as a coalition and as a campaigner for the freedom and liberation of Yenga for over 20 years, it's going to be done, but not through use of violence, especially armed conflict. However, we should make sure that the Guineans know that we are not afraid of them and that that land belongs to us. You understand? So we're going to do it peacefully, but we are going to be very firm. That's why we are mobilizing our networks in Sierra Leone, in Liberia and Guinea, because there are people there who are also not in favor of what the Guinean government is doing. You understand? We have had a network with them. We have had meeting in Conakry with our colleagues, CSO, and this time we are bringing in our colleagues in Liberia for them to know that this business of Yenga is a business for Sierra Leone, Liberia and Guinea, because all of us are bordering in that area. You have Liberia, one part is Liberia, the other part is Guinea, the other part is Sierra Leone, bordering on the Makona River. You know, so now that the governments are talking diplomatically, and we are with the firm opinion that diplomacy has already failed, and we need to change our gear to another level rather than that of violence, we need to bring the civil pressure on the government of Sierra Leone and Guinea and bringing in Liberia also in, because our business, when a neighbor's house is on fire, you must be part and parcel to put it down. Otherwise, if you allow it to escalate, it will spread over to you. The war in Sierra Leone started in Liberia. You know, it came to Sierra Leone, partly entered Guinea and also Ivory Coast. You understand? So when those leaders, because those leaders failed to take actions that would have been taken right at that time, every other person suffered. So we as peacemakers, we as leaders of civil society in the ECOWAS sub-region, in the Mano River sub-region, we don't want to allow this one again to continue. When all of us mount the heaviest pressure on Guinea to understand that Guinea have more resources than Sierra Leone. Guinea's land is 10 times bigger than that of Sierra Leone. Guinea's population is larger than that of Sierra Leone. Why do you have to take this? No. A very minute area that you have because you think you have the military mind of the military power. No, the youth of Kailan, the youth of Sierra Leone, Liberia and Guinea, and the civil society, we are now resolving that this matter must come to an end without the use of violent acts, but it must come to an end. And we are putting the required pressure on the government of Sierra Leone and on the government of Guinea to see reason for the withdrawal of Guinea, and there should be a timeline to it.
Okay, so thank you very much. He is Charles Mambo, the chairman of the Coalition of Civil Society. Well, we wish you guys well for this your civil pressure on the government to ensure that a lasting solution is restored to the Yenga issue. Well, we still have Brahma Michael today with us in the studio on this Samsumana issue. Mr. Ture, from your posture and from what you are saying, is like the Samsumana team is ready to go to court or to take any other means to ensure, because you say you don't want him to be disadvantaged. So, from what you are saying, is it that don't you think that the public is somehow seeing Samsumana as he came to the APC again to disrupt all of the gains or destroy the gains that they have made to come together as a party?
No, that is not the case, but let me communicate something very quickly that will probably answer that question. After all of these years, and last year the Elders Council picked up this matter. The Secretary General brought the issue to the Elders Council, 3 issues, said the registration, the tripartite issue and the Samsumana issue. And then the Elders Council picked up the Chief Samsumana issue, and they had several meetings, and they had a position based on everything, all the findings. The Elders Council presented their position to the party that given everything that we now know, all of the wrongs that had been done to this man, we are recommending as an Elders Council, because we don't have the authority to make a final determination, but we are recommending that we bring this man into the party unconditionally. Understand? That was last year. The party leadership had a NAC meeting and they invited us, Chief Samsumana and his team. We came to that NAC meeting. We came very close to resolving that matter. After our presentation, after the presentation from every other person, including the party's head of the legal team, of its legal team, Lawyer African Association, did a presentation highlighting all of the things that went wrong along the way with Samsumana, and left the matter with the party, the leadership, to take the final decision. The chairman recommended that we form a committee of 3 from Samsumana, 3 from the party, to have a press conference to communicate to the world, not just Sierra Leone, how we came about the final decision of having Samsumana back into the APC unconditionally. That committee was never formed, that press conference never took place. So we came to a near point where we would have taken action, but the same Elders Council, just several weeks ago, picked up the matter again and say, we don't want this man to take us to court, basically. Let us resolve this thing once and for all. They prevail on the leadership of the party. They asked the leadership of the party to allow the legal team from the party and the legal team from Samsumana to meet last Friday, so they could resolve the matter once and for all. Because if you are saying I'm not qualified and you're not a legal person, what you do is allow your legal team to look into the matter and advise you appropriately. That is what we had wanted the party to do a long time ago, 5 years ago. They could have brought the matter to their legal team and say, advise us. Let me give you an example. When they had a problem with the Young Congress, the leadership, because the age limit said to be classified as a youth, you would have to be between the age of 18 to 35. The one who was president of the Young Congress went over the age of 35. And so the Young Congress brought up the matter to the party and said, this man is no longer 35 years and therefore he's not qualified. He needs to be replaced or whatever. They sent the matter to the legal team. The legal team looked into the matter and gave them their legal opinion that yes, indeed, this man should step aside and someone else should come in. Same way, why did the party not do the same with the Samsumana issue? Why can't you bring the matter to the legal team? This was what the Elders Council wanted. Bring your legal team, let the man bring his own legal team, let the own legal team sit and get a final resolution to this matter. So we know where we stand.
Okay.
Our legal team went there, we went there, Chief Samsmana was there, the party's legal team did not show up. Who is right here and who is not?
Okay.
So if you're being treated like that, what do you do next? After you have exhausted all the internal layers of conflict resolution, what do? You don't take guns and cutlasses and run after people. You go to the law.
Okay.
So we have given them 10 days from that Friday to resolve this matter. After that, they will not blame us as to what we will do next. That's what we said.
Okay, so
that's where we are.
Thank you very much. It is Bremer Michael Tue talking about the Samsumana membership, issues surrounding Samsumana's membership. We hope that the APC will not resolve to go to court again.
We do hope so too.
Thank you very much. We'll go to another segment in this edition of Good Morning Salon, which is the review of the headlines of our local tabloids. I start the ball rolling with Premier News newspaper, which opens saying that CSOs demand minister suspension amid fraud allegations. Pavi fought Toma bomb irrigation work impresses MPs, but funding delay raises concerns. Sierra Leone host Waika confirmed. Government seeks peaceful resolution to Yenga border dispute. These stories plus more you get in the Premier News newspaper. The next idea is the Awareness Times newspaper, as she gives a detailed history of the Guinea-Kailan border controversy from 1994 to date. Dr. Sylvia Blyden praises police and army over Yenga. Ambassador Kumba secures support for 34 military hospital. This story plus more you get in the Awareness Times newspaper. The next idea is the Pyramid newspaper, and it says Sludge Hills press freedom progress. Yenga border dispute, peace talks begin. Parliament inspect Toma bomb rise. And the last newspaper I have here is the Awoko newspaper that says government sends fact-finding delegation to Yenga amid escalating tensions at Sierra Leone Guinea border. EcoBank rewards loyal customers in exciting raffle draw. There can be no unity if we are not honest with ourselves. Honorable Usman Timbo declares for APC flag bearer. These stories plus more you get in the Awoko newspaper. Well, this is how we draw the curtain down of today's edition of Good Morning Sero. But we want to remind you that all of the views expressed here, they are not the views of the SLBC, but we are merely reviewing the headlines of our local tabloid. We want to say very big thank you to you, the viewers, and also to our studio guests. I want to say thank you to my production crew, especially my producer, Daphne Zainab Kamara. Well, before I leave you, let's take the quote again. It's from an American educator or his man, and it says, "Habit is a cable. We weave a thread of it each day, and at last, we cannot break it." This is how I say goodbye for today's edition of Good Morning Serum with me, Emmanuel Samuel. Good Morning Serum returns tomorrow, same time. Stay glued to the SLBC.
The mother of the house. Whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base. It's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available Brown Gold Natural Cocoa Powder, Sunny Gold Brown Sugar, Neat Fufu Flour, Shito, Pisa and Moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.
For you good up where you dey. the sky for days. Mama Salon, it flag so high. We want to tell una say we appreciate una. We the kikis, we say thank you to una. Your boy. My boy, SLBC, Mama Salon, they appreciate you for your good work where you did. Mama Salon appreciate you. Your boy, my boy, SLBC, Mama Salon, they appreciate you for your good work where you did. Mama Salon appreciate you. SLBC una top sky. Forest Mama Salon una so high. We want for tell una say we appreciate una. We big.
It takes its name from the Arabic word for emptiness, Al-Zahara. But the Sahara is really a collection of deserts, and the most remote is the Tenere. It takes its name from the Arabic word for emptiness, Al-Zahara. But the Sahara is really a collection of deserts, and the most remote is the Tenere. I set out to cross the Tenere in the way caravans have done for 1,000 years. It'll mean a journey of 1,200 miles over rock and sand by vehicle, camel and on foot, and it's a dangerous journey. For in this sweltering, desiccated furnace, death strikes the weak, the ill-prepared or the unlucky. They call it the land of fear. My name is David Adams, and as a photojournalist, I've made a point of going to some of the world's most remote places. My journey starts in the African Republic of Niger, a former French colony, where the Tenere meets the Aya Mountains, which is why I'm in the ancient city of Agadez. Agadez is a mud city, and there seems no end to the patterns that clay and straw can achieve. It's also a holy city of Islam, this mosque claiming to have one of the highest mud minarets in all of Africa. It's a city that got rich on trade. Less than 100 years ago, slaves, gold and ivory were sold here in the Agadez markets. I just love the chaos of these markets in Africa. You can get absolutely anything, and everything's being...
This is News Brief, reaching you live from Broadcasting House on SLBC. I'm Cecilia Alice Cisse. The West African Insurance Companies Association has held its annual general meeting and conference on the theme Battling Financial Crimes in West Africa, Role of Insurers. The event seeks to strengthen the insurance market across member countries. The event brought together over 120 delegates from various African nations. It sought to promote the development of a sound and technically strong insurance market in West Africa. The Commissioner of the Insurance, Sierra Leone Insurance Company, Arthur Yaski, said insurance companies play a vital role in risk management, climate change, mitigation, and disaster management. He said a strong insurance market was key to combating these challenges. Deputy Minister of Finance Bokai Kaloko said financial crimes such as cyber fraud and money laundering cost Africa an estimated loss of about 1 trillion.
It takes its name from the Arabic word for emptiness, Al-Zahara. But the Sahara is really a collection of deserts, and the most remote is the Tenere. I set out to cross the Tenere in the way caravans have done for 1,000 years. It'll mean a journey of 1,200 miles over rock and sand by vehicle, camel and on foot, and it's a dangerous journey. For in this sweltering, desiccated furnace, death strikes the weak, the ill-prepared or the unlucky. They call it the land of fear. My name is David Adams, and as a photojournalist, I've made a point of going to some of the world's most remote places. My journey starts in the African Republic of Niger, a former French colony, where the Tenere meets the Aya Mountains, which is why I'm in the ancient city of Agadez. Agadez is a mud city, and there seems no end to the patterns that clay and straw can achieve. It's also a holy city of Islam, this mosque claiming to have one of the highest mud minarets in all of Africa. It's a city that got rich on trade. Less than 100 years ago, slaves, gold and ivory were sold here in the Agadez markets. I just love the chaos of these markets in Africa. You can get absolutely anything, and everything's being bargained, and it's all over the place. Sugarcane, onions, grain from Niger, and then there's this stuff, salt. It's actually been the mainstay of this whole area of Africa for probably more than 1,000 years, and it's the great salt caravans that bring it here. This is Caravan Central, first port of call after crossing the wilderness. From north, south, east and west, they converge on Agadez. because it straddles one of the great desert crossroads of Africa. Everything about these markets is geared to caravans. Clothing, footwear, headwear, even a haircut. Meat, drinks and fruit for a lengthy desert crossing. And of course, food for the camels too.
Doesn't look very happy, does he? I think he's probably really upset because he can't eat it. It's sort of the reverse of having a carrot hanging in front of you. You've got lunch on your back and you can't do anything about it.
This is truly stepping back in time. Here we are at the dawn of a new millennium, and there are still people wearing swords. They're called the Tuareg, not people that you'd want to mess with. Only 18 months earlier, they were in full armed rebellion against the Niger government. So if you want to travel to the desert and survive, you need their help. Which is why I've got to go 120 miles to the north. That's 200 kilometres to Chimia, a place famous for its camel races. Here I'll find the people I need to get me across the Tenere. So these are the people I'd come to meet, the legendary warriors of the desert. And they wouldn't look out of place in a Star Wars movie either. The Tuareg once ran an empire that controlled the Central Sahara. No caravan could pass without their say-so. There are many theories about their origins. Some say they're one of the lost tribes of Israel. Others that they were originally Christian, hence the prevalence of the cross as a Tuareg motif. But today they're Muslim, and in stark contrast to the Islamic norm, it's the men who cover their faces, while the women leave theirs unveiled. Tuareg are fiercely competitive, many of them riding up to 4 days just to take part in this race. And today that's all it is, a race. Not long ago, they'd have lined up like this for a warrior's charge. They're off, and there's lots of jostling for the lead, which sometimes leads to accidents. And what an awesome sight. These are descendants of desert pirates who as recently as the 1990s were still raiding caravans with lance and sword. Somehow, I don't think nature ever designed a camel to gallop. It's more of an awkward lollop, half canter, half trot, not very comfortable for the rider. And it isn't a race for the faint-hearted. The course is just over 2 miles, or 3.5 kilometres. Plodding across the Tenere with a caravan won't be quite like this. It takes 10 minutes to cross the line, and when they do, it'll be to the cheers of their women and the jeers of their rivals. It's going to be interesting crossing the desert with men like these. There'll be many races today, and in between, the dancing. A chance for the warriors to let off steam, and for me, a chance to take some photographs.
It's actually perfect moments like this when there's an amazing picture and your camera breaks. This is my panoramic and it's not working. This will never happen again, so I'll have to go and fix it.
On they dance until the prize giving. And this is the prize.
Whoa, fantastic.
The legendary sword of the Tuareg, the takuba. And it's certainly not a toy.
They use takuba for fighting, because it's something who every man, every Tuareg man will have a takuba.
But today they're more for show, he says, a symbol of manliness. But for a weapon that's just a symbol, it's extraordinarily sharp, the perfect prize for a warrior. So these races are about more than just rewarding winners. They're about creating legends. It's as if we're back in the Middle Ages, in the time of the Moors, Crusader knights, and tales of chivalry and honour. I'm preparing to cross the desert. To help me, a team of Tuareg will show me the way to the Tenere and beyond.
Is there anything else for up here? Yeah, lots.
Camping equipment, tools, spare wheels and spare parts, diesel fuel, medical supplies, rations for 3 weeks, and of course, plenty of water.
Okay.
We decided not to take tents. It hasn't rained in the Tenere for 15 years, and it isn't likely to for another 15. But I did bring these.
Can't go anywhere without the old skis.
We're heading north into bandit country. Our route takes us through the heart of Niger's Aya Mountains. This was a Tuareg stronghold during the rebellion. It's desert all right, but just in case you're wondering where the sand dunes and mirages are, well, relatively little of the Sahara is sand dune, and a hell of a lot of it is mountainous. Some of these arid peaks are over 7,000 feet high. I wanted to explore them. I wanted to go deep into them where no European had ever gone. And to do that, I had to start in the isolated town of Ifuan. Here, everything's improvised. Buckets become drums, wires become toys, and an old plastic container will do as a soccer ball.
Look out, watch your fingers. That's good, huh? Oh, it's just rotten. Ha. I don't know how long this thing's been sitting in the sun. It doesn't taste very good.
If I'd have been walking down these streets 18 months earlier, there's a fair chance I'd have been kidnapped and held for ransom. This was a Tuareg headquarters during the rebellion. Today all is quiet, and I'm just a figure of curiosity. Word was getting out that there was a stranger in town. Maybe I'd like to ride a camel. If so, wouldn't I like to buy a saddle? Or maybe one of those murderous Tuareg swords.
This is a really old one. Looks like these are the old alchemic moon symbols, which you only find on the really old swords. No, not Puma. I don't think these guys take no for an answer in selling anything.
But why would I want to buy it when I can get one made to order? These must be some of the world's last swordsmiths to make swords for combat. A blade of the finest cutting steel, which 500 years ago would have come from European cities like Toledo or Padua. Today's takaba is more likely to have been forged out of Toyota bumpers.
Parlez-vous anglais? Speak English? I'm looking for a guide.
I'm a guide.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I want to go from Iloane across the Air Mountains into the Tenere.
I can do it for you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have camels?
I have camels.
Because I would like to go either today or tomorrow, if it's possible. Yeah?
Tomorrow perhaps, but now you have to wait. I buy a cell for my camel here.
Okay.
Yeah? You can wait.
Yeah, I can wait, sure.
Yeah.
And that's how I came to meet Hoya Abdurrahmana, a man who'd become my guide and mentor, a man who'd helped me to understand more about Tuareg culture. Out in the desert, Hoya's family live a nomadic life, moving from camp to camp with their animals in search of feed.
So the family has been here for 3 weeks?
They need to be near water, but not too near. An old custom forbids Tuaregs to camp nearer than 5 miles from water, lest their children grow up taking it for granted. It's rare that one gets the chance to meet the Tuareg at first hand. And what a greeting.
Hello. Bonjour, David.
It means how are you, how are your parents, your family, your children, your grandparents, and so on.
That's a fantastic handshake. David, bonjour.
Can you go and greet my family?
Yes, yes.
This is my sister. Yeah.
Bonjour.
The two here are my sisters.
Uh-huh.
The third one is my wife.
Bonjour, madame.
His name was called Abzau here too.
Abzau here too?
Abzau, yeah.
Abzau.
Abzau.
And what does it mean?
Huh?
What does Abzau?
They give him this name depend to his color.
Ah.
Yeah.
So Abzau means white?
The white.
Ah.
Abzau is white, but not very white. Is not very very white. Is near white.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Abzau.
So it's on Abzal that I'll ride into the Tenere, perched on a Tuareg saddle with what look like sharp, trident-shaped handlebars.
And Hoya, what are the spikes for, these ones?
This is protection for takuba.
From the sword?
Yeah, from the sword.
Oh, so when they were fighting, this is so
Yes.
that you didn't get cut?
You go behind and takuba you stay here.
Because I thought it was for me to hang on to.
Not for taking.
Oh.
Not for taking.
Saddlecloths, provisions, and a traditional water bottle made of goat skins. But there's something missing.
And where are the stirrups? There are no stirrups? No. No stirrups. Okay. And there's something I remember about camels and committees. And this one looks particularly well designed. It's also got a very good temperament, I think.
Now this is the easy way of mounting a camel. If you want to do it the Tuareg way, just grab its chin, climb up on its neck, and spring into the saddle before it bites you. Easy. So off we ride into the mountains towards one of the highest peaks in the Aya, Adra Tamgak. As we go, Hoya sings me songs about his Tuareg heroes and their exploits in battle. We're heading up a dry riverbed through the Tamgak corridor, the start of a major caravan route to the Tenere. So it's a bit of a surprise to get our feet wet quite so soon. It was the last water we'd see for over a week. By now, I'm getting to know Hoya. Not long ago, he was a wealthy man who owned over 100 camels. But he got caught up in the Tuareg rebellion against the Niger government. It absolutely ruined him, leaving him with just these 2 camels. In the rebellion, many of his friends were killed. As I was to discover, Islam is central to Hoya's life.
When I was praying, it means I was, I take contact with God. I pray for him. I must do this for him, and I will ask him what I want.
That night, Hoya brewed a pot of strong Tuareg minted tea, which has to be poured back into the pot 3 times. Why do you pour it 3 times?
3 times is something we see with our ancestors. If when somebody one tea or 2 was not happy, it's not good. It's not a good thing like this. It's a tradition for our ancestors.
Next morning, we've got company. A family of baboons appears from nowhere, in the middle of this Aya mountain wilderness.
It's a big one here. I see him before. The chief is sitting on this big stone here. The boss.
These are the big black ones?
There are red ones too. But
yeah.
They didn't stay here. They didn't stay together because they fight against.
Right. And that's not a yawn. It's a threat. His way of letting you know that you've come quite close enough. But what's so amazing is that they're here at all, in an arid place like this. As it happens, they're relics from a different age.
Oh, wow. That looks like a whole family.
It's a family here.
And how old do you think these are?
Maybe around 8,000 years.
I'll take some photographs of this. This is great. They're animals long gone from this desolate wilderness. Yet their images have been faithfully recorded in stone. It just goes to show the power of climate change. When Tutankhamun sat on the Egyptian throne and King Solomon ruled Israel, this would have been lush savanna land with plenty of game for hunter-gatherers. Whoever carved these 7,000 to 10,000 years ago sat here in a very different landscape than I do, because what he saw out on the plains was giraffe, ibex and all the other animals here on these rocks, and all I can see is dunes. There before me is what I've come all this way to see, the great Tenere Desert, washing like a gigantic ocean of sand across the rocky coastline of the Air Mountains. So reunited with my vehicles, we head off into the desert, with Hoya coming along as my guide. Towards midday in the Tenere, the burning sun heats the sand to over 110 degrees. Not good for driving, even for our Tuareg friends. And they're some of the world's best desert four-wheel drivers.
Now it's hot, I think it's not so easy to...
Yeah. Looks like we might be having lunch here, I think. The problem is that the sun is so hot at the moment that all the sand is really, really light, and so they can't get any traction. We may even have to wait till late in the afternoon.
So we let air out of our tyres. Deflated tyres cover more surface area and gain more traction. And once into the real desert, we can get up quite a speed. Once into the Tenere, all the desert is a road, where each car makes its own track. The Tuareg always drive in formation, always in sight of one another. Yet you can get lost in a mirage long before you ever reach the horizon. Here the sand is firm and the drive is easy, but where the dunes are soft and steep, that's where their driving skills really kick in. The trick seems to be to run up to the crest, brake at the very last moment, and then let the car gently slide down, and there you go. But sometimes even the Tuareg get it wrong. It was our first accident, and we're 400 miles from the nearest service station.
Nobody's hurt. What's happened is the bags come right through the back window here, fallen down into the compartment when they hit the ground. It also ripped out the tyre from underneath, and when they collected the ground in front, it's actually bent up this really large bumper bar. It's serviceable, but I think it's going to cost us quite a bit.
It was a rather violent introduction to some of the most serene sand dunes on Earth. This is actually a giant meteorite crater, Arakaw, and right now the light is absolutely perfect. I have to say, I've been waiting all my life to come and sit here and watch a sunset like this across these dunes. These are some of the biggest in the world, and for the next couple of hours and early tomorrow morning, the colours and these shapes will just change and change and change. And for this, and taking the photos here is absolute heaven for me. The shapes are incredibly sensual. Curves and ripples made crisp in the red evening light. And as the last rays of desert sun slip over the horizon and the sand dunes cease to glow, I revel in this photographer's dream. So this is the biggest dune in the Tenere, huh?
Yes.
Okay. The next morning, I wanted to have a crack at the world's highest sand dune and do it on skis. My friends thought I was absolutely crazy. This sand hill is a little over 300 metres high. That's almost 1,000 feet. And the Tuareg tell me it has never been skied before. The trouble is, the nearest ski lift is over 2,000 miles away, and it was hot, very hot. Every step I take here seems to be 2 steps back, and this ridge seems further and further away every time I take the next step. I stupidly didn't bring a hat or a water bottle, which is the cardinal rule here, so I'm just melting. Getting up here on the ridge, this view is absolutely incredible. These dark ridges behind me that just burn in this sun, and then dunes away into the distance across this amazing crater, and I can see everything. Very good. Fantastic. It's harder than snow, but just having got up there and skied down on it, your legs kind of get really tired because you can't move properly. But I don't know if anybody's done that before, but my hat off to them if they have. Oh, and I'd love some water, please, somebody. See, I've been really stupid not taking it up. Oh. One week into our desert journey, and we're now well into the Tenere, and I have a caravan to catch. We're heading into the heart of Niger's sand ocean, and the analogy isn't a bad one. Here in the middle of North Africa, it feels as if you're really crossing the sea. The Tenere takes its name from the Tuareg word for nothingness. So we're crossing a nothingness the size of France, in the middle of an emptiness the size of the United States. Is that a camel?
Yeah. Camel, in caravan, sometimes there are camels who died. During the caravan, there are camels who died. Well, this is one of them here. Yeah.
Death comes quickly here in the Tenere. Go without water for 8 hours and you start to die. And your body doesn't rot. It's so dry out here, even bacteria struggle to survive. No wonder they call it the land of fear. Yet for centuries, Tuareg caravans have been crossing it, and we're on the trail of one right now.
Bamba. So caravan trucks here.
Oh yeah?
Caravan trucks here.
Do you know how old? How far ahead they are?
I don't know exactly. I will go and see what.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
No need for global positioning satellites out here. They use organic navigation. Camel droppings. It looks dry.
It's dry. It looks dry.
How many days?
3 days, around maybe 3 days. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So not so far by the car.
Around 100 kilometers, we'll catch them.
Great. Yeah. Okay, let's catch them up.
Yeah.
Then in the middle of nowhere, we see bales of hay. It's a camel takeout, a supply dump. Our caravan can't be far ahead now. On and on through the nothingness we go, until a strange shimmering line starts to resolve on the horizon. It's the caravan. Once more, it seems as if time has stood still. Things have hardly changed since the Middle Ages. With satellites high above, here they are, navigating their way with pinpoint precision through the Tenere, and not a compass in sight. This is the same caravan that's been dropping off hay all along the route, so when they return, they can feed their camels. Using the sun, the wind, and the stars to guide them, they'll find it again easily. But they have a problem. A boy with a badly infected hand. Luckily, as part of our supplies, we have a medical kit. Looks like he's got blood poisoning. He's got glands are right up here. There's not a lot we can do with him, and he probably needs pretty serious attention to it. But hopefully we can stop the infection and clean it up. But it's much better treatment than he'd normally get out here, in a place where the nearest medical help is hundreds of miles away.
It's very important, however. It doesn't take more, they won't work. And if this doesn't get healed, he will lose his arm.
If his wound turns gangrenous, it could be a stark choice. Amputation or death.
Do not sell them.
All of this brings the dangers of desert travel into sharp focus. While the Tenere is awesomely beautiful, there's no margin for error, no support if something goes wrong. By now we're nearing one of the most isolated outposts in the country of Niger, the town of Bilma. And how's this for water ski practice? Well, at least there aren't any sharks out here. We've done about 220 miles across this sand ocean, and my Tuareg friends have navigated us perfectly. No thanks to this, though. And again, on a maritime note, what would you expect to see on the other side of an ocean but a lighthouse? It's just that the real ocean is 1,000 miles away. It was part of a whole string of them, built around the Tenere in the 1930s. It's abandoned now, but it had a distinctly colonial purpose. Of course, this wasn't actually built for the Tuareg, because they don't need navigation in the desert, they've got their own. It was built for the French army, so they wouldn't get lost. This is the oasis town of Bilma, and here there's plenty of fresh water. It bubbles out of the ground crystal clear, turning the desert into a tropical garden. But it's surprising to discover that most of this fresh water is turned into salt water, deliberately. Because there's so much salt in the ground, water is poured into these pools to leach it out. The burning sun does the rest. In temperatures of way over 110 degrees, or 50 degrees Celsius, the water quickly evaporates, leaving the salt behind. It's here that an old Bible story comes to life. They make pillars of salt. You're looking at an industry that hasn't changed for thousands of years. There's a shortage of salt in the Sahara, so Bilma salt still finds its way to just about every corner of North Africa, which is why Bilma attracts the caravans. Not far from the salt pans, it's a mass of bellowing, fighting, cud-chewing camels, all waiting to start a 2-week journey back across the Tenere. There's a caravan leaving soon. Hoyer and I will be joining it. But first, he needs to buy some salt for his animals back home.
Is it good, Hoyer?